Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're going to be talking about not the Ferdinand, the elephant. This tank is very similar to the Ferdinand. And we're going to be talking about this tank and whether it is worth it to keep it or not. Because this tank you can sell for 3,750 gold. And you can get this tank for free in the event that is almost over now. You can get it very easily. All you have to do is get first, second, third, or aces. And you're going to be getting it pretty easily. It's really not hard at all. It's actually really easy to get this tank twice and get the 3,750 gold for free, and then you can sell it again for another 3,750 if you want to. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. Is it worth it to keep this tank, or is it better to sell it for the 3,750 gold? So yeah, let's get into the review of this tank real quick here. So this tank is very similar to the Ferdinand. It's a tier 8 German tank destroyer. Really the only differences here is that this tank has a slightly different gun. You have a lower alpha, quicker reload sort of gun on this compared to the Ferdinand. And this gun has about a 380 alpha gun. You got that 6.1 second or so reload. Has a decent pin. You're not going to be struggling with pinning. Accuracy is okay. I mean, it is a tank destroyer, so sometimes you hope for good accuracy on those. Sometimes you don't get it, sometimes you do. This one's just in between here. I mean, it's not going to be anything you're really too worried about, but it's not going to be pinpoint accuracy either. Now getting into the armor on this tank, the armor is a little bit, leaves a little bit to be desired on this tank, to be honest. You're going to be okay against most tier 7s when you're facing them. They're really going to bounce you most of the time, unless they're maybe a heavy or a tank destroyer. But then facing tier 8s, yeah, that's not quite as well. I mean, your cheeks are pretty easy to pin for pretty much any tier 8, unless it's maybe a light tank or so. Very easy with any premium to pin the cheeks of it. I mean, nobody should be bouncing that. And then any tier 9s are just going to butter straight through this tank. That's really no question. But it's a little unfortunate because this thing is not fast. This is a very slow, heavy tank destroyer. You know, it's not really moving too quick. So you want to be able to rely on that armor, and just a lot of times you can't. Unless you're in a game kind of like this where you're facing these tier 7 lights, these tier 8 lights with really bad pin, you're kind of in trouble a lot of other times. So you want to be careful. You don't want to poke out and take all those shots whenever you know you're not going to get bounces. So you got to be careful and keep that in mind. And that happens a lot because this tank isn't one where you poke out just real quick, boom, get off at like a big 640 alpha shot. This is a lower alpha TD. This is one you want to be able to like face hug in this. You know, it's one of those you want to be able to go in there and DPM out someone. But it's really hard to do that when you don't have enough armor, when they're just going to pin you every time. You got that low TDHP, you know, it cannot end very well a lot of the times. Now that being said, obviously, like I said, this tank is not fast by any means. The gun tries to make up for it. It is a good gun for sure. The gun on this is not bad at all. As you can see in that video, it works pretty well. You're easily buttering through tanks whenever they aren't shooting at you or if they're bouncing. The problems just occur whenever you're going against any really tier 8. They're not really going to be bouncing you, and it's not fun when that happens because you don't have as much HP as them. And even with that good alpha gun, you can get buttered through pretty quick. So yeah, that's definitely the downside of the tank. The downside of the tank is the armor on this guy. It's not the best at all. The gun, pretty good. Nothing to be too worried about when you're going into battles. And yeah, it's not bad. Mobility, again, not the best. So, when you kind of put this all together, it's a tank, it's not a bad tank. It's decent, it's fun-ish to play. It's a little slow, a little bit slower than I would like, but, is it worth that 3,750 gold? Do you want to keep this tank? Is it worth it to keep, or should you sell it for the 3,750 gold? In my opinion, yeah, I would probably sell this thing. I mean, it's just another tier 8 heavy tank with a lower alpha gun, quick reload, okay-ish armor. And honestly, stuff like the Jagdtiger 8.8, I think it actually might have better armor because you have much smaller cheeks on that tank. It's a lot harder to pin them just because of their size, even though otherwise they're about the same armor-wise. And that gun might actually be better, I believe, than this one. I'm not 100% sure. And yeah, there's just a lot of similar tanks to it. It's nothing too unique. I mean, you could just go get a Ferdinand in the tech tree and have a pretty similar experience. So yeah, in my opinion, just because of how much gold this is worth, if this was worth less gold, I would maybe say it's worth it because, again, it's not that bad of a tank. But just whenever it's worth 3,750 gold, yeah, that's quite a bit of gold. I'm not going to lie, that is a pretty sweet deal. So personally, I'm going to probably be selling this tank here pretty soon, just after I get some more footage of it maybe. And then yeah, I'm going to be probably selling this guy for that juicy 3,750 gold. Again, you can see here, it's okay. It's just nothing great. I mean, we're getting pinned very easily, obviously, by these tier 8 TDs. I mean, your armor is not going to be helping you out much here. Accuracy, as you can see, not the best. I mean, that was aimed right in on that hatch of that T28, and it just, you know, didn't go. As you can see, they're kind of missing. Not the best there. And so, yeah, I would probably recommend selling this. Again, not the best armor. Like you can see, we're getting pinned pretty easily here, down to a one-shot. But yeah, I would probably recommend selling this tank. Maybe play it a few times if you want to get it in, and then you can make up your own mind, obviously, if you want to keep it. If you play it and you really like it, you can keep it, obviously. Maybe do that, but in my opinion, I think this is probably a sell just for that amazing amount of gold you're going to get from this tank. Always very nice when you do that. Obviously, with getting this tank from the crates as well, you know, the charms, and if you got it again, I mean, that's crazy. Getting it from the crates twice would be crazy. But yeah, this is a pretty awesome event that Wargaming had here, because we can get basically minimum 7,500 or 7,250 gold or whatever it is, which is pretty awesome. And yeah, that's going to be very nice for my gold pile for the end of the year while I'm waiting for the Christmas event. Yeah, pretty awesome. So that's pretty much it here. Let me finish this up right here. As you can see, the AP goes straight through the elephant's cheek. I mean, you can see the armor profile there. It's pretty weak on the cheeks, so, you know, not the best armor there. Nice 7-0 battle, by the way, there. I thought the MM was supposed to fix that. Nope. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for the elephant here. You know, nice 3.1k game here, and so was the last one. Nothing too bad, like I said, but nothing that I think is worth really 3,750 gold. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.